What's up, interweb? RhyQuinn here, and welcome to another Meet the Coach interview. Today, I am with CrimsonCBAD of the Detroit Steel Wings. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing today?
Not too bad at all, thank you very much. For those of you that don't know what this Meet the Coach series is, it's basically just a chance to get to know the coaches in the GBA in Season 4. Me, RhyQuinn, is taking the 6 new coaches in the GBA this season, and Crowbat for the win, Danza, is taking the 6 returning coaches. And as I said, today I'm with CrimsonCBAD of the Detroit Steel Wings. And yeah, so this is just going to be some very basic questions just to get to know Crimson a little bit better. So first things first, just a very kind of standard opening question. How long have you been playing Pokemon?
Let's see. I've been playing Pokemon. When did Blue come out? Blue came out forever ago. Was it 99?
90, no, it was earlier than that. 95, maybe?
95?
95, 96, maybe?
Okay, well,
anyway.
I remember getting I remember getting Pokemon Blue when I was a kid, and ever since then I kind of played it. Didn't really get too much into like heavy competitive Pokemon until X and Y came around, but I've owned and played every single game that's come out so far.
Yeah, that's a substantial amount of time. And I think you pretty much answered my next question anyway, which is how long have you been competitive battling? So
yeah, I'd say probably. I got into the whole competitive scene probably it'll be a year ago this summer, and then actively participating in it myself probably like November timeframe.
Oh, okay. So not that long at all then.
No.
Do you think that's gonna like hinder you because you're facing? I know there's some people in the league, such as like Tup, for example, has been competitive battling since like 4th gen. So do you think that's gonna be like a challenge for you to try and take down some of the more experienced veteran players, or do you think because you're a fresh new player, you're more adept at this kind of like meta game?
It's kind of a hard question to answer because obviously anytime you're faced with that kind of question, you're like, oh man, these people have been doing it for a while. When you sit down and think about it, if people have been playing the competitive since 4th gen, we're doing the league's obviously in 6th gen battle tactics, so I'm not worried about somebody's experience in 4th gen or 5th gen. Not to rag on that by any sense of the means, but I'm very accustomed to 6th gen battling, which is how the league is formatted. So I'm not necessarily too worried based on my experience.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Bearing that in mind, as you said, this league style, do you have any experience in like a league format before? Obviously, it's very different to normal competitive battling. So do you have any actual experience in like a league format like this before?
I do not. This is actually my first league that I am participating in.
Right, okay. So do you think you're like... How do you think you're adapting to this style? See, the draft has been completed, so how do you feel like you did with like the draft in particular? Do you feel like you fared pretty well in terms of like adapting to what you wanted to draft or what you had in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as the draft was breaking down, I think my picks only got sniped maybe once or twice, but it was something really easy to work around. In the grand scheme of things, in my opinion, I actually got a well-rounded team that's going to be able to take on any threat that any of the other coaches want to toss at us.
Yeah, that's very true indeed. And yeah, so in terms of the actual battling itself, do you think you'll be able to adapt in terms of creating the custom sets and the custom EV spreads and not being creative for the sake of being creative? You still need to make stuff that actually works at the end of the day. Do you think you'll be able to adapt? Because obviously a lot of these people do have a lot of experience. Some people have been in the GBA since Season 1. It's obviously a hell of a lot of time and effort put into it, and obviously you're something of a newcomer to this. Do you think you'll be able to adapt? And
oh yeah, I don't think I don't think that'll be a problem at all. I mean, a lot of them, in my opinion, some people may think otherwise. In my opinion, a lot of the mons that I drafted do have a lot of versatility around them. Some people might not see that at first glance, but when I put time and thought into my draft, I mean, there were nights where I was up until 4 or 5 in the morning trying to figure out what can I work around with this, what can I work around with this, and there's a ton of options that I have to work with it. So I don't think adapting to any sort of battle strategy is going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that with looking at your team right now. But in terms of competitive battling as a whole, do you normally battle in like are you experiencing like the lower tiers, or do you normally battle in like the more OUU kind of thing?
Traditionally, anybody on my channel knows that I'm very adept in UU battling.
Mm-hmm.
I have ventured down into lower tiers, and it has proven to be successful. I know, common threats, common weaknesses, and stuff that you're going to see in those lower tiers. But as far as my overall knowledge and comfortability, it usually stands within UU and RU tiering. Normally I don't run lower than RU as far as just free battling goes. If I want to battle people in a live stream, or if I want to battle people on my channel, RU is usually as low as I'll go, and UU is as high as I'll go. Typically, just usually in that frame.
Ah, fair enough. That's cool. So as such, then I think that's kind of reflected in your draft picks. So real quick, I'll just run down your team for people that don't know. Should also be on the screen as well. Crimson's picks, the Detroit Steel Wings for this season, are Mega Beedrill, Skarmory, Clefable, Jolteon, Feraligatr, Gothitelle, Chandelure, Weezing, Claydol, Sableye, and Rhyperior. And obviously, I'm rooting for the Detroit Steel Wings because he has Rhyperior, and Rhyperior is the answer to life. So, yeah. So I think, your experience in UU kind of is reflected in your picks quite a lot. You can see the influence in a lot of your picks, I think. But yeah, definitely got some powerful picks in my opinion anyway. But you did briefly mention this before. You said you didn't really get sniped too much, so you're pretty happy with what you got. You got what you planned for. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I mean there were. I think the one big snipe that came through was that I was really hoping on snagging Breloom.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I got drafted before I could get a chance to do it, but it wasn't anything I could. It wasn't anything that I couldn't plan around necessarily. But there was other people had more setbacks than I did. We can just say it that way.
Yeah, that's good though. And I know a lot of people are possibly going to be surprised at a Mega Beedrill draft. It's extremely powerful, but some people might say it's a little bit, not quite as versatile as some of the other picks, etc. So what would you say back there? Obviously, you said like at first glance, a lot of people might not see versatility in your team, but you think you can pull that off, pretty much.
That is actually, when we talk about versatility in the team, that is actually one of the few mons that I drafted where it's essentially just a straightforward tactic. Anybody who's run a Mega Beedrill knows how to run a Mega Beedrill, knows what's coming. I just like to think that as far as hard-hitting, fast Pokemon go, as far as a good Mega that I'm used to using, I'm very comfortable with it and how to mess around with it in battle. That was the Mega that I should go with. And there were don't get me wrong, there are other Megas that were drafted that were a much better choice than Mega Beedrill. I will not say that I chose the best Mega, but I wanted to choose a Mega that I was overall comfortable with in this type of battle style.
Yeah, that I think that at the end of the day is probably one of the most important things. People talk about versatility and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to use ones you're comfortable with, because if you don't, you're not going to be using them to their full potential.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's completely true. So bearing in mind, you've seen your draft, you've seen everyone else's drafts. What do you think you can achieve this season? What are your expectations for this season?
Obviously, anybody who comes into a format like this has, hopes and goals and ambitions of, I want to take home the GBA Season 4 trophy this time. And somewhere in the back of my mind, that's absolutely what I'd love to do. I'd love to be able to prove to everybody, even though that I am one of the newest people in not only in the battling community, but in the GBA, that I have something to bring to the table as far as battling skills go. That's something I want to do. But at the end of the day, it's just more about, I think it's a really great opportunity to be able to prove to people that, even though I might not be as adept at this as other people in the league, that I still have a lot to bring to the table, and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
Yeah. Those are pretty damn good, honestly, the invitations. Who do you think you're most looking forward to playing this season? It could be, I don't know, just someone you've wanted to battle for a while, or it could be you think it's just going to be a really great battle. Just whatever. Who are you looking forward to playing?
Well, I'm gonna answer this in two parts, because when I was first introduced into the community, I was actually introduced into the community via GBA Season 2, I believe. A friend of mine showed me the link to that, so it was really cool to get into that. And off of there, I was able to, I wanted to battle Shady Penguin, Magnitude, Pokemon, those kinds of guys. Like, obviously, those are the people I came up through. I've had the opportunity to battle Steve. It's been a real, privilege being able to battle with him. I know I'll be able to get to battle John. I know I'll get to be able to battle Shady. So those are some of the battles that I'm actually really looking forward to. As far as it goes, though, as far as a competition base goes, I'm really, really looking forward to getting the chance to battle John, because there was a statistic sent my way via Twitter that overall he has the highest overall base stats on the entire team, and I actually have the lowest in the draft.
Oh, really?
And I think if I were to somebody sent that to me. It was only maybe like an overall 60-point difference in overall base stats. And that's, somebody can point that out that I'm wrong if it was, but I believe it was 60 points. But overall, just that disadvantage gets me excited, because I want to be able to see what kind of damage I can bring to the New Orleans Pelipers.
That is awesome. to thrive in the underdog role is always fun. And aside from yourself, who do you think are people to watch out for this season? Who do you think are some dark horses, or people that you think people should just watch out for?
I think people need to watch out for Nips, honestly. Watching his draft unfold, I see a lot of different stuff that he could do with that team, and it was really scary watching that, play out hour by hour as the draft went by. I was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing. I mean, I'm only recently new to watching Nips's channel, going into his streams. Probably, I'd say only a few months, if that. But he definitely knows what he's doing. I think people are going to sleep on him based off the fact that, he is brand new to this, just like me, just like, Old Man Tup, Malvone. But the way his team played out, definitely, I could see some real threats coming up in that.
Yeah, for sure. Long Island Reggie Rockies is definitely a team to watch out for.
Absolutely.
So that's going to wrap up just the normal questions. Just something I'm just going to do at the end here. It's just going to be a fun little lightning round, pretty much.
Okay.
All it's going to be is I'm just going to give you like 2 options. They're all going to be like Pokemon related things. I'm just going to give you like 2 options, and then you just say your instinct answer, what the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
So, for example, I'd say like Mac Bike or Acrobike. And you say Acrobike. Nice. So it's just going to be that, just a few of these. I'm going to ask all the interviews that I'm doing. I'm going to ask the same questions, and you can compare answers and see who's better. So, ready?
All right.
Let's do this. Trick Room or Tailwind?
Tailwind.
Bounce or Dig?
Dig.
Alakazam or Gengar?
Alakazam.
Rhyperior or Gigalith?
Rhyperior.
Obviously. Red or Blue?
Blue.
Swift Swim or Chlorophyll?
Swift Swim.
Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire?
Omega Ruby.
Latios or Latias?
Latios.
Kanto or Johto?
Johto.
And the most important question you'll ever be asked, RhyQuinn or Danza?
RhyQuinn, of course.
Thank you very much. That is the correct answer indeed. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I just like doing that fun little lightning round at the end, because why not? But I think that is going to wrap up this Meet the Coach interview, so thank you very much, CrimsonCBAD, for coming on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Links will be in the description for CrimsonCBAD, for his channel, etc. Make sure to go click him and subscribe to the GBA channel if you want to stick around for more Meet the Coach interviews coming your way very soon from myself and Crobat for the win. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Toodaloo.